Welcome home, resident. It's your Mayor Alistair back again, and it's time to go back 65 million years because the second trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth has finally dropped, and it is incredible. Feels like it's been forever since we got our first look at this thing, but now we have a brand new preview giving us a new look at the deadly T-Rex, Mosasaurus, and horrifying mutant, the Distortus Rex, and even the flying Mutadons that were hinted at earlier in the month. Grab your flares, don't move a muscle, and let's break down everything we spotted in the latest footage frame by frame. Welcome back to Jurassic World. There's a lot to get through with this trailer, so subscribe and stomp the like button, and for the 70% of you that aren't subscribed, do it, there's so much cool stuff to come. To summarize, before I even get into the trailer, I think I'm in love. Obviously this trailer reveals a fair amount of new footage, so we'll post a spoiler warning just for those that want to go into the film blind. You have been warned. To start off, the trailer opens up with a flashback to 2011, where we see the lab experimenting on dinosaur genetics. Everyone seems to be going about their day until someone managing the security of the facility notices that the guards are opening fire on something. We can see their little muzzle flashes as they start to panic. So she presses the emergency switch to close off whatever is inside, trying to contain it. The doors begin closing on the scientists. People are scampering, trying to escape the horrors that lie within. And on the name of the containment door, you can see it is indeed called D-Rex. So this big whole facility contains the Distortus Rex. Next to it appears to be a version number, which makes it seem like this is the 23rd attempt at designing whatever the D-Rex is meant to become. Though this one has been kept alive, which means there's something they can get from it. In classic Gareth Edwards fashion, someone gets left behind the glass and he starts begging for his life. Although the other scientist recognizes that it's too late. If she opens the door, the creature would get out. And there, behind him, it approaches. The D-Rex. First we see its mangled jaw, and then its bulbous head, and then its massive claws as it slowly approaches him, as if it's toying with its prey. Although we see its claw lightly stroke the guy's back, as if the D-Rex is curious more than anything. This may be the first time it's touched a human without them being armed with the ability to kill it. And then it grabs him. We saw an extended look at this recently, where it lifts him up and turns into his side, likely to eat him legs first. A gruesome way to go. Then we get the classic shot of them sailing to the island, very reminiscent of the classics, as we get a new look at Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, as well as Duncan Kincaid, played by Mahershala Ali, and Dr. Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, with a narration from Martin Krebs. That's this guy, played by Rupert Friend. He financed the mission on behalf of Parkogenics, the pharmaceutical engineering company looking to make a cure to a deadly disease. He explains that 24 species have survived on this island. We get some awesome atmospheric shots as we see the crew entering a long abandoned facility, and it's here we get a good look at something super creepy. Zora explains that this is where the theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here. And one of these experiments was this. We see the rotting remains of a two-headed dinosaur with multiple arms, a sharp bird-like beak, and long bat-like wings. This is the Mutadon. I'm not sure how the park arrived at this specimen, whether this is an early attempt at trying to make velociraptors and the embryonic process didn't eliminate the bird-like features, leading to wings and a beak. But this thing is creepy as hell to look at, and we get to see even more of it later on in the trailer. Now we get to see what will likely be the highlight of the trailer, and probably even the film for some people. The river raft scene from the novelization has been brought to life, featuring this new bulky badass T-Rex design. And just look at how beautiful she is. I'm going to gush a lot about this scene, so bear with me. We see the family panicking, trying to paddle away using up all their energy. But just look at how the T-Rex is slowly walking towards them, barely putting any effort into it. It's as if it knows it doesn't even need to try to know it's going to be able to catch its next meal. That makes it feel so much more threatening. It doesn't even need to exert much energy to eat you. We then see it swimming underwater, which is such a cool image. I'm loving this recent obsession with seeing Rexes swim. It's just really nice. It's also most likely trawling across the bottom of the river because it starts to raise up as the riverbed becomes shallower, before she leaps up, flipping the raft over and sending the family flying. And just listen to her roar. It's slightly deeper and more rough than the previous Rexes, which make this one feel even more imposing. And then, possibly my favorite shot of this scene, we see the T-Rex roaring, and just look at how good she looks. This CGI is incredible. ILM have done an amazing job with this. This looks like it's actually there, and the design is just, chef's kiss. Easily my favorite in the franchise now. But it's not over, because we get this shot of the T-Rex playing with the raft, trying to flip it over with its feet, because the girl is still stuck inside. I just love the little mannerisms here. It makes it feel so much like a real animal, more than anything we got from the previous World films. The Rex then roars, which alerts the team nearby, who look towards the jungle. This seems to just be when they were shipwrecked by the Mosasaurus, so that's probably the last thing you want to hear when stranded on an island. Then we get this beautiful landscape shot of this massive valley filled with hundreds of Titanosaurus. It feels like it's been so long in the Jurassic series since we've had a gorgeous wide shot with just loads of herbivores in there. And we get an even closer look as two Titanosauruses meet, and the scale is just incredible. Based on an interview with the writer David Koepp, it's likely that these two are engaging in courtship, which is actually something that happened in the Lost World novel. So let's be their wingman and help them out. This is really the kind of thing only Gareth Edwards could do. Just look at the size of them compared to Zora, an awe-inspiring sight before they're inevitably attacked by something more deadly, like the Quetzalcoatlus. Dr. Henry Loomis states that if they get the DNA, that being from the Mosasaurus, Titanosaurus and Quetzalcoatlus, millions of lives could be saved, since their DNA holds the key to a new life-saving medicine. Although it's easier said than done, because they're attacked by the Quetz, which actually might have a slightly different design to the original trailer. This shot at least has been completely redone. Zora says it's time to move, which is certainly something you should have said before the Quetz arrived, as it starts pecking and trying to grab these strangers invading its nest. And again, the mannerisms are spot on here. This moves like a real animal should. It actually behaves like a real animal rather than some CGI monster, which I'm so glad to see. The lighting in this scene also just makes the Quetz look so real. It almost gets Zora, but she delivers a kick that could shatter bones right into the beak of the Quetz, which I can't imagine calmed it down. Of course, we know how this scene goes thanks to that first trailer, where the Quetz leaves and drags Henry Loomis out, throwing him out of the cave. Can't wait to see this on the big screen. Next up, we see Martin looking up at a crashed helicopter, most likely a victim of a Quetzalcoatlus attack, and he eyes up something on board, a mummified corpse with their hands still on a firearm. I'm guessing he's going to try and retrieve it, and in a pivotal scene, will whip it out in a betrayal to the rest of the team, perhaps because they discover the true intentions of Parkergenics, which may not be as pure as their mission suggested. Next up, we see Henry Loomis standing on a platform as he fires a flare into the sky, likely to alert the team that something deadly is coming. Gareth Edwards certainly loves a good flare scene, doesn't he? And we get to see more of this scene later. Now we have possibly the weakest part of the trailer for me, and that's this Aqualops that June Delgado, played by Audrina Miranda, has seemingly taken as a pet. This is probably the one thing that takes me out of it a little, because it's behaving kind of like just a puppy, which clashes with the tone of the rest of the film. But I guess you've got to lighten the mood somehow. It's not very smart for someone to have an animal that makes noise when you're trying to hide from something that wants to eat you. June says that she's scared in regards to the Aqualops and asks what she's scared of, and the trailer makes it very clear what that is. Because out of the thick fog comes the unmistakable silhouette of the Distortus Rex, which has grown a lot since the first encounter back in 2011. Like, it is huge. We then see Duncan firing up his flare, trying to get the D-Rex's attention away from the family as we get the money shot. The Distortus Rex in all its glory, and man, this thing looks terrifying. I'm not sure how Duncan is going to get out of this scene. There's not much to say that hasn't already been said, but I can't wait to see more of this thing, and I hope we get to see it fight the Spinosaurus. Next up, we see Duncan telling the family that he's not going to let them get hurt, likely talking specifically to the child in this scene. We then get this new shot of the facility powering up, with the lights flickering on as the generator wakes up the facility. And I love this, it really gives me Lost World vibes. But doing this attracts the attention of something that will likely be divisive for the community: the Mutadon. A finalized version of that mutated corpse we saw earlier in Containment. This looks unlike any dinosaur we know of, with long pterosaur-like wings, raptor-like legs, and a bird-like face. This thing is a real monster, and to be honest, I like it. This scene looks like it's going to be tense as hell and is very reminiscent of the Velociraptor scene from The Lost World. They try and barge their way into the gas station to reach their prey. We can see Zora hiding behind one of the pillars. One wrong move could lead to her guts being impolitely removed from her body. But she yells at it to lure the creature away from the kids inside, and it chases after her, and barely misses as she slides under the truck. This thing is actually surprisingly cool, and I'm hyped to finally see this thing for the first time after months of speculation. Its design is, to be honest, a lot better than I think many others thought it would be, at least based on those earlier descriptions. Next up, we get an extended look at the Mosasaurus scene, which is being hyped up to be one of the biggest set pieces in the film. And for a while I wasn't too hyped for this. Mosasaurus isn't my most favourite animal, but after seeing this, my excitement for this scene has shot through the roof. Martin asks whether we found the Mosasaurus, since it's one of the rare creatures they need to recover DNA from, and Loomis responds with, "No, it found us," as the Mosasaurus leaps out of the water and crashes down next to them, trying everything it can to capsize the boat invading its territory. And just look at the size of this thing as it swims alongside the ship, using its sheer mass to push the boat into the cliff face. It scrapes the side and almost takes Zora's head clean off. This may be what forces them to abandon ship, as the holes in the vessel are leaking water inside, and the last place they want to be is in the water with a giant Mosasaurus. We then get this incredible shot as the Mosasaurus swims beneath the ship, and its eye stares right back at Zora Bennett, currently hanging off the bow, barely holding on. And we can just see it snapping, trying to get a hold of Zora. And to close the trailer, we get this stunning shot of the Mosasaurus breaching the water in a similar way to whales, which is just beautiful. I'm glad that the film is still able to find beauty even in the most deadly of creatures. Cut to title card: Jurassic World Rebirth, coming 2nd of July, and the tickets are actually now on sale, so go grab them. Wow, this trailer was just incredible. The first trailer was okay, but it felt a little cheesy with the one-liners and didn't really give the horror vibe that Gareth Edwards has spoke about. But here, it's full of it. It has amazing visuals, tone, and a better balance of that creepy horror vibe with some of the light-hearted one-liners that we can expect from Jurassic. The story, which I thought sounded pretty weak on paper, has really come to life here, and I'm now fully on board. This really looks like my perfect Jurassic movie. Gareth, I always believed in you. You cooked. July 2nd can't come soon enough. I hope you enjoyed Trailer 2 and our breakdown of it. Hopefully we pointed out some things that you missed out on your first watch. Be sure to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. And let me know your thoughts on the trailer. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.